Welcome to Come Fact number 2. Alright, y'all. This video is not for children. Please ignore the background noise. I meant to do this last night. I just wasn't feeling myself, and I'm going through some shit today. So, I'll get this off my chest. Alright. This is a 2-part video. Alright. So, I have 104 of you here on YouTube, and I believe as of today, it should still be 511 people. Now double check that on my Instagram. Let me get to me. Okay, a little more now. I have 532 followers on Instagram. So first, let me thank y'all all. Alright? Let me thank you all. Now, this is not my last broadcast, by the way. That's not why I'm thanking you. I'm thanking you all because I may be losing you all with this video. And I want to make something abundantly clear. Alright, you're always welcomed here. And 2, whatever happens after this video, you know, I've always been honest with y'all. And I'm going to continue to be honest with you. Now, I may not give you the whole 1,000. Y'all know how I work. I give you as much as you can handle, which is 99.9. I know you're thinking, but why don't you give us the whole 100? Because see, here's the thing about this. There's not 100% of the truth. There's 1,000% of the truth. And when you're dealing with me, most people can't deal with the 1,000% of the truth. Alright? So that's why I say I give you the 99.9 instead of 100. Because I believe in going all out with truth. And I also know that as a human being, not all human beings can handle the whole 1,000% of the truth. It's kind of like when I was younger and I just thought that I was black and white. Then I found out I was part Native American. I was like, oh, fuck. You know, boom. So, that being said, here we go. This video is going to get racist. I'm going to do everything I can to keep it PG-13 cussing-wise, but I'm also going to not really hold back. I have some very foul opinions, and I'm going to voice them. And I'm going to say this in a way that will probably be offensive, but I'm also going to say this honestly and openly. And first and foremost, politics ruin friendships. It does. Politics totally ruin friendships. I don't want to ruin my friendship with any of y'all, but I also don't want to hold back and not be honest to myself. Alright? So, in a couple of these Facebook groups, you know, we got to talking about who's voting for who, and I told them, to be honest, I'd rather not talk about it because I don't want to lose friends here. And I'm pretty sure they don't like that because most of the people there are Trump supporters who clearly don't follow me here. Alright? And for all of you here who are Trump supporters, I got nothing against you. Honestly, truly to God, remember that I have nothing against you. I have to question your moral compass. Alright? Now here's where I get offensive. If you were white, I expected nothing less from you than to follow Trump. Although Biden is also white, I will be honest, I didn't want to vote for him. I voted for him because Elizabeth Warren is off the ticket with her 1.16% of Native American DNA, which I am part Native American. And it would be monumental to have someone who's part Native American, if not the first full-blood Native American, in the White House. That would be fucking phenomenal and historical. And I just cussed, which wasn't supposed to happen. Anyway, that being said, you know, I voted for Biden for the simple fact that Warren was out. It's the same story that I've given you about why I voted for Hillary twice and wound up voting for Obama because she lost the nomination. It wasn't because I'm black. I didn't want to give Obama the black vote because I already knew all the black people in the universe were going to vote for this guy. And it wasn't that I didn't like Obama. But when he got in the first term, I lost my bloody job. And I'm not blaming him for that either. The company really just needed to find a legal loophole to give me boots to ass. That wasn't Obama's fault. They didn't want me there because I'm honest. And because I don't take shit from nobody. If you need your ass kicked, And it's between you and me. You best believe that I'm going to kick your ass. Not because I can, but because I said so. I might not be able to beat your ass, but I'm going to give it the college try. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be successful being that I am a martial artist. And before that, I was a street fighter. What you choose to believe is on you. I can't make you believe something, but I can damn sure show it to you. If necessary, boots to ass can be a thing. So, let's get to it. Last night's debacle, man, it was just a little bit better than last week's debacle. I honestly am going to go down the rabbit hole with this, and it's going to hurt people, piss people off. Let me lock this goddamn door. It's going to upset you all if you've gotten this far. You're blessed that you're not upset. But here's the thing. I have white family. I have white friends. I don't know if they voted for Trump, and I don't care. I don't want to know. Because in this Facebook group, which is why I'm making this video, politics and politicians, whether you are Democrat or Republican, none of them really honor their word. None of them. No. And politics and politicians ruin friendships. So if I got some friends that voted for Trump, the only thing that's going to change is my opinion of their moral compass, especially if my friends are Asian. If you're Asian and you are voting for Trump, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. He just hasn't gotten to your kind of Asian yet, alright? He's solely been focusing on Chinese. I got some Chinese friends. I'm mad as hell at the danger that this man has put them in, alright? I have some Vietnamese friends. I have some Korean friends. I have Filipino friends. And I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to piss them off, and I'm probably going to piss all of you off here on Kung Fu Havoc number 2. But I'm going to tell you the truth. If you are Asian or Mexican, and you are voting for this asshat, there's something wrong with you. You are not aware, or you are not woke, as they say, of the shit that has been flying out this guy's mouth. When he talked to the immigrants who were coming up from Mexico and he separated them from their children. And if you're Mexican and you're supporting this, there is seriously something wrong with your moral compass. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but you need to think about this. Oh, just because it hasn't happened to you, you're not thinking about your fellow Mexicans? Because he's telling everyone that Mexicans are rapists and murderers and shit like that, and you're supporting this asshole and you're following him. And this counts for you Colombians too. If you're coming over and he's saying, we're letting in Colombian rapists and murderers and stuff and all that. And every place that there's a border, we're going to separate the parents from the children, and we're going to send them all back to places where they were trying to find political asylum because their countries are awful and they're killing everybody. But you're supporting this guy, and you are supporting someone who has degraded and downgraded your people. And my only thing to that is, it's your right to do it. I'm not going to condemn you for your right to do that. Because those dog tags over there that I put on were for y'all to do that. Those dog tags that my uncles put on, that my uncles on my father's side put on, they did this so that we all can have freedom. Because freedom is not free. How he talked about soldiers. That was part of the debate last night too. We'll get back to that in a minute. Probably in the second video. But, to be honest, if you are of any Asian ethnicity and you are following this guy, there is definitely something wrong with you because he just hasn't gotten to your Asian yet. Remember that. He hasn't gotten to your Asian yet. He's gotten to mine, and he's gotten to Chinese. Oh, let me be politically correct. See, I am part Cherokee, and Native Americans, biologically, are Asian. Alright? So, when we came to this country, only the second generation of Native Americans are true Native Americans. The first generation were nomads from Asia through Siberia to Alaska, splintering into different thousands and thousands of tribes all the way down to the south tip of South America. Alright, so all the way down past Chile. So you have the Incans, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Amazon, all the way down in South America. And they, yes, are biologically Asian. Alright? You have Polynesians in America, Hawaii, who came out of Micronesia and Polynesia and Tahiti and all those other places. They are biologically Asian. The Pacific Islanders are also Asian. So he hasn't gotten to your Asian yet. And yeah, Wuhan, China was the birthplace of the damn COVID-19. But he doesn't call it the Wuhan disease. He calls it the Chinese virus. He calls it Kung Flu. So if you are of Asian ethnicity and you are voting for this asshat, there is something morally wrong with you. I apologize if this hurts your feelings, but I'm telling you the truth. There's something wrong with you. If you're a Filipino and you're voting for this guy, there is something wrong with you. He just hasn't gotten to your Asian yet. That's all to that. Like I said, I have a lot of Asian friends, you know, and I don't count myself as an Asian. I count myself as a multicultural person. However, it might be better if I bill myself as a Native American instead of a mixed person, because being mixed has not worked for me, period. And most people think I look more Native American than black. So we're still in the confining stages of that. But the truth of the matter is, if you are Chinese and you're voting for him, were you like wearing earbuds or something when he started calling it the Chinese virus? Were you wearing earbuds when he started saying Kung Flu and all kinds of other stuff? Because, truth be told, if you're Asian and you're voting for him, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. There's something wrong with you. I'm not trying to offend Asians. I'm just giving you the facts. Let's take it back. My problem with Trump started in 1993. All right? You guys didn't know me then, and you rarely know me now. But my problem with Trump started in 1993, when he started attacking Native Americans about casinos. Now let me explain this Native American and casino thing to y'all really, really quickly. Because restitution, which is something that they're supposed to give slaves, which is something they were supposed to give the Japanese for entrapment camps because of World War II, and something that they were supposed to give Native Americans. Well, part of these treaties were, well, we can't really give Native Americans everything that we've taken back from them. We can let them have casinos and have their casinos make money to distribute to members of the tribe. So our illustrious president, who wasn't the president at the time, decided that he didn't want Native Americans to have casinos to build money, because Native Americans didn't have to pay taxes on their casinos because their money goes to the tribe. This asshat decides they don't like Native Americans to me. So that was a big clusterfuck. You can go watch that video. It's on YouTube. You can go find Native American conflict with Donald Trump. I don't know the exact title, but you can go find that shit. Right then and there is where my problem with Mr. Trump began. Then the Central Park 5, where it is stated in the documentary that he said these 5 young men should be hung. Who says that shit? In a situation where black people have been hung in this country on and off the record for years. But see, here's how racism works. See, when racism smacks you in the face, it's because it's a racist incident that affects you directly, or affects someone you know directly. But when it doesn't affect you, you don't give a shit. Alright? You don't. So a lot of people who have been secretly racist are now popping out. Now here's my problem. If you are racist and we're friends, I need to know. I need to know when you're going to stab me in the back. I'm sorry. But if you are racist and I know you're racist, I respect you way more because you're honest about that shit. Versus me finding out when that knife comes in my back, like, you've been a fucking racist this entire time. Hey, be real. Be honest. You know, that's just the way I see it. If you're real and you're honest, then there shouldn't be any problems. However, a lot of people are racist. Alright? A lot of people are racist in this country. Now, the ones that are willing to admit it, I respect. The ones that are not willing to admit it, I got no part of you in my life. I have no need for you in my life. Now, here's the thing about this. I am a racist. What was that? That's right, I said it. I am a racist to racist. Alright? There you go. I am a racist to racist people because I've been the victim of racism all my life. Half-breed, mixed boy, chief, You name it, I've been called it. No, Mexicano, I'm not even Mexican. But that was also before I found out that Mexicans actually are Native Americans. They stopped counting it as Native Americans after you get past Mexico, but they're still Native Americans biologically. Alright? So, there you go. And you go from Mexico to Panama to South America. All of those are Native Americans. The homemade tribes, from the Aztec, the Incans, the Mayans, to the Amazon, they're all down there. They're all Native Americans. But since they're in South America, America does not count them as Native Americans, even though biologically they are Native Americans because they are part of the great splinter that started in Alaska. They went into Canada's First Nations and went into the Americas, thousands of tribes from Ojibwe to Cherokee to Creek to Apache to Navajo to all those. So they are Native Americans. They are the ones who just kept splintering down and went off on their own traditional things. That's why there's so many different tribes. But we all started from one group of tribal people that migrated from Mongolia through Siberia, splintered off there, started going to Alaska, started going into the northern regions of Russia, and then over into the Americas, and we just started making oppressive footholds. In other words, we started fucking like rabbits. So therefore, now no one expected to ever run into Europeans and lose the country. So that's kind of how America became the way it is now. But what we don't seem to understand is, if we're all in this together, why is there so much hatred? So now let's get back to the political clusterfuck of last night. Last night was a debacle. I thought the last week was a bit bigger, but last night for sure was a debacle. Now, because of the simple fact that they both were pretty rule breaking. I mean, they gotta start following the rules. You guys gotta have some etiquette. Both Democrat and Republican were just like, your time's up. Your time is up. Now, we'll say that the woman moderator shouldn't take too much shit from them. She's like, no, I said your time is up. And I loved her. But honestly, it was another debacle. I mean, Kamala, the young lady of mixed ethnicity, held her own very well against Mr. Pence. Now, his children served, so I got to give him some credit because his children served. But nobody in the Trump camp served. So, Mr. Pence, for the sake of your own honor, I would stop defending the lies that this guy has shot out of his mouth. He has said bad shit about John McCain. That was like his primary target in the Senate. He has said shit about Gold Star families. He has said shit about soldiers being losers and suckers. As a soldier and as the father of soldiers, you should be more aware and alert of saying, yo, you done said some questionable shit. Be honest about the shit, because that's the one thing politicians aren't. You should have said, okay, look, I served this guy. I'm not proud of some of the shit that he has said about soldiers. I'm not proud in the least bit of some of the shit that he said. Now, behind closed doors, no, be honest. Be honest. You want to vote, be honest. Which is kind of what Miss Harris was driving at. And Mr. Pence was bullet dodging, and Miss Harris was bullet dodging. I'm sure you guys were thinking, oh, James, you're not going to tell the truth about that. Oh, hell yeah, James is going to tell the truth. Both of them were fucking rude. However, again, the moderator did her job. She did her job very, very well. Where these two they weren't as bad as Trump and Biden. They weren't as bad. But they weren't as good either. They weren't respectful, Neither one of them was respectful. Miss Harris was a little bit more respectful than Mr. Pence, but they were not respectful. And, I wanna deep dive into that, but it's gonna take all day, and I don't have all day to deep dive into that because I have class in like 2 hours, and I wanted to make this video more about racism, and if you're voting for Trump, and if you are Asian, and if you are black, your moral compass is shaky, That's just my point of view. Your moral compass is shaky, and I'm sorry. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. My problem with Trump might not be your problem with Trump, but that also may be the simple fact that he hasn't reached you yet. Alright? He hasn't reached you to the point where you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't vote for this motherfucker. He hasn't reached you. He has not reached you at all. And that's the thing about that. If he hasn't reached you, that's why you're all in. Because he hasn't said one thing that has offended you. He hasn't said one thing that has offended somebody in your family. He hasn't said one thing that has made you go, maybe I should reconsider this shit. He hasn't gotten there to you. That's just all to that. Again, 1993. I'm going to rehash this. 1993. I was in high school. I just started learning about the casinos because the Cherokee, to my knowledge, don't have a casino, and if they do, then it's probably in North Carolina or in Oklahoma, which wherever my Cherokee ancestors have come from is Powell Height. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm still trying to get all that information, but until you are slapped in the face with some shit, you kind of just there. So here's my thoughts on that. He's done so little for the Native Americans in the public eye. He's been at war with the Native Americans since 1993. And you guys may not believe it. And then there was that whole Standing Rock. Standing Rock is what really pushed me over the edge for Trump. Because I will state this until I die. I watched it on live TV. I've watched it on Instagram. Well, not Instagram, YouTube. I watched it when the conversation came up when he was doing the thing, and one of the young ladies who was white asked him, what are you going to do about Standing Rock when you become the president? And he looked her dead in the face and said, I have no ties with Standing Rocks, the pipeline people, I have no ties with that. I'm not going to let it happen. Obama ensured that it wouldn't happen on his decree on the way out. He said, my last decree as the president is I'm going to protect Standing Rock. And he put it down there. Day one, first day as president, the decree to protect Standing Rock has been disavowed by Donald J. Trump. So you don't have any standings with Standing Rock, and you got rid of Obama's treaty to protect Standing Rock so that the pipeline could go through. So what the fuck? Because you told them that you had nothing to do with Standing Rock. And as soon as you became the president, fuck Standing Rock. Let's just throw Standing Rock let's throw a rock at the people in Standing Rock. Kind of like we didn't land on Plymouth Rock landed on us. Same concept. So, if you are going to do that, and if any other Native Americans are watching right now, you cannot blame me as a person who's not pure blood to stand with Standing Rock Sioux. Alright, I'm Cherokee, I'm not Sioux. I'm not Lakota. I'm also not Apache. But all tribes that have had issues with Trump since he's been in office. Remember the guys that pitched the teepee out in front of the fucking White House thing? And in front of one of the rallies, and they did the little dancing and all that. I know I'm not the only one that watched it. Alright? But he's had issues with Native Americans. I'm part Native American, so what affects them does affect me, at least here. If not physically, at least here. I got a Cherokee heart, period. There's no way around that. Anything Native American, I'm always eye spying on it. And as soon as I get the money for the DNA test and submit my application for the Native American Nation, the Cherokee Nation, whatever, because I have to do this shit also for school purposes. Because I didn't know that being part of Native American means I could get like discounts in college and shit like that. I had no fucking idea. And now that I know, I wish I would have known back in my 20s because I'd have been done with college by now. But, his problems with Native Americans, and then his problems with blacks, the Central Park Five, and then back to Native Americans, and like I said, and then the Chinese. And it's like, okay, look, man, American-born Chinese are not Chinese from China. Alright? ABCs are not the Chinese from China. And the Chinese immigrants from China who have immigrated and have American citizenships are Americans, and you are putting them in danger every time you say the Chinese virus or Kung Flu. I've had friends that I have been worried about in New York from the day he opened up his mouth about that shit. And I'm not going to mention my friends' names out of fucking safety for them. And granted, they're dudes, and granted, they could probably kick anybody's ass because some of them have been in my movies with me. So I'm not so much worried about them in a fight. I'm worried about their families if they have them. I'm worried about my boy who takes pictures. I don't know if he has family, but I do contact him every now and again on Facebook and Instagram. And he takes really good pictures. And I'm like, what if he has been set up to take pictures for somebody who's fucking racist and they set him up? No, we can't have that. So if you're Asian and you're voting for this asshole, think of your fellow Asians who could be set up by white supremacists to be taken out because, oh, well, you're Chinese. But what if you're not Chinese? You're just Asian. And someone who doesn't know the difference decides, hey, I'm going to kill a Chinese man today. But you could be from Vietnam. But you're still Asian. And a lot of people, if they don't know last names, will still kill an Asian thinking that there's something else. So if you're Asian and you're voting for Trump, you may have some moral issues that you need to confirm with because he just hasn't gotten to your Asian yet. That's all to that, And again, I apologize if I'm offending anybody Asian for this, but I'm telling you the truth. He has not gotten to your Asian yet. That's the bottom line on that. He has not gotten to your Asian. He's gotten to mine. I'm not Chinese. I'm Native American, black, and white. So he's gotten to mine. He's always been getting to mine. Always. If anything he has something to do against any tribe affects me. Because I'm not legally part of a tribe, but I am biologically connected to a tribe. You see where I'm going. My great-grandmother on my father's side was full-blooded Cherokee. My grandmother on my mom's side is half Cherokee. My grandmother on my father's side, who they're both dead. My grandmother on my mom's side is the only one still alive. My grandma on my father's side, it's hard to say if she was actually full Cherokee or if she was mixed with black. I don't know, because she was tanner than her mother, but her mother was still tan. So she could have been full-blooded. I have no fucking idea. But she didn't get buried on the reservation where my grandma Ada got buried on the reservation, which I wasn't allowed to go to. So that kind of haunts me. So before I die, hopefully I can get somebody to take me there. Now, on the flip side of that, there's things that Trump has done that they claim he's done for Native Americans, and I'm like, you know what? I ain't see it. If I didn't see it, you can't say he done it. I have seen him say shit about soldiers. And we're going to save that for the next video. Because this is 27 minutes long. This may be a 3-parter.